Okay, Masechta Sanhedrin, Daf Tzadik Beis Amar Aleph is starting from Tzadik Aleph on the base, 5 lines from the bottom. Amar Abchi Bar Abba, Amar Ab Yechnan, Abchi Bar Abba said in the name of Yechnan, Menayim L'Tchis HaMeis Min HaTorah. How do we know Tchis HaMeis Min HaTorah? Shenema, like it says, Koil Tzefayich, the Koil of the Nevi'im, Tzefayich means the seers, Naso Koil, they will raise their voices Yachtov together, Yeraninu, and they will sing. Even though it's going to be together one Lashon, and normally when Nevi'im say, they say it in different Lashonos, but here, last love they will make, they'll say it with one Lashon. It doesn't say they sang, it says that they will sing. So from here we know Tchis HaMeis Min HaTorah. Rabchi Bar Abba said in the name of Rabbi Yechnan, in the future all the Nevi'im will say all of this Shira with one voice, even though Nevi'im usually say it with different Lashonos. But here will be one voice in the Shanama Kol Tzefayich, the voice of those that will sing. They will raise the voice as one, and they will sing in the future. So Rav Yehuda said in the name of Rav, Kol Haminei Halach Mipi Talmud, one who knows how to teach, and he withholds from teaching a Talmud, the student, it's as if he's stealing from the Yerusha of his fathers. Because the Torah is on Yerusha that we got from our forefathers, from our fathers. So never like it says in the pasuk, Torah Tzibur to Moshe, the Torah was commanded to us to Moshe. Meirasha, it's a Yerusha, Kehilas Yaakov to the congregation of Yaakov. We're all part of that congregation. So the Torah belongs to us. So if somebody knows how to teach Torah and he doesn't teach Torah, he's stealing from that person. Meirasha, he lechol Yisrael m'sheis me'abreshis. Meirasha, it's a Yerusha to all of Yisrael from the 6 days of the creation. Omer Rav Chanu bar Bizna, Omer Rav Shimon Chasida, Kol Haminei Halach Mipi Talmud, one who withholds teaching halacha from his student, afilu ubarim shebei imam mikal noisei. Even the fetuses in the womb of the mother are cursing him. Shenema, like it says, Manei ba, he withholds the grain. Yikfu la'in. Yikfu, the bar is grain over here. Bar means Torah. The grain, the two is unzer Torah. And he's withholding from the Talmidim. It says, Yikvu la'in. That la'in means the ubarim. You remember Rivka was walking with 2 babies, Yaakov and Esau. It says, la'in yemotz. One was overpowering, one kishazak kam zanayfel, but they were fighting within the stomach. La'il is going on the fetuses. Tzveik but it was in the stomach. It's going on the fetus. And la'im only means the fetuses. Shanema, like it says in the pasuk, ula'im mila'im yemotz. That one nation will overpower the other, which wasn't within the Rivka's stomach. Vein kaboy. And when it says yikvu, vein kaboy elakola. Kaboy means cursing. Where do we see that? Shanema, Bilam wanted to curse the Yidden. He says, what should I curse? Like Kabe Kale. As the Eivishter shall say, how could I curse them? So you see that the Lashon, Yikvu means cursing. And we know bar, the grain, which bar means grain, but bar means Torah. Shanama nashku bar pen yanav. It says, strengthen yourself in living our Torah so that the Eivishter shouldn't get angry. So you see, bar means Torah. So the mother Ula Bar Yishmael, Bar Yishmael says, that the Eibishter lechet and duch, if he doesn't use the Torah to teach, so he's going to become a keli full of holes, that the Torah, just like water falls through all the holes, the Torah is like as if, it'll fall right through the holes. Okay, so he says, it says in this pasuk bar, somebody withholds halacha from a Pi Talmud, and then it says yikveu le'oim. It says lashon yikveu. Uksiv hasamay yikveu, and it says in another pasuk Melachim that he punched a hole in the door. Abaya say ki uchle de katzori. It will be like a launderer, a keli that has full of holes when they want to spray. On the begodim, they had a keli that had a whole bunch of holes, so it shouldn't, not the whole water, and spray the water on it. The launderers used it. So that's what will happen. Somebody who doesn't teach Torah. But v'im limdoi. But what's if he does teach? Maskari, what's his schar? What's his reward? He's going to merit to the brachas just like Yosef. And it says, "Ubracha l'reish mashbe." Is a bracha, a blessing to the leader of the provider. Who was the provider in the God's Mitzrayim? Who gave the food? It was Yosef. Yosef was the ruler of the land. Who amash b'lechol am haaretz? He was the provider to the whole am haaretz, the whole nation of the land. Whoever teaches Torah in this world, he will end up teaching in the world to come. Like it says in the pasuk, somebody who satiates the thirst of the Talmidim in this world in Torah, in the future he's also going to teach Torah and satiate the thirst in Olam Haba for those that want Torah. Not for those, everybody wants Torah there. We're going back now. From where do we know Tchiz HaMeis Minat Torah? It says, Yechid Reuven should live and he shouldn't die. Yechid Reuven means he should live, it means Beilam Hazah. But he shouldn't die. That's the Leilam Haba that goes on in the future. That means it'll be Tchiz HaMeis. He's not going to die. Ravino says from this pasuk. I didn't count. I don't know. This is probably so far 10. Anyway, Ravino says from here. Many that are sleeping in the dust of the earth, Yakitsu will get up. This is going for the future. And those that are shameful, he brings down. What does it mean? That goes under the shoyim that they won't get up. They'll remain in Gehenna forever. So the Rambam brings down here. This is the most explicit pasuk that tells us about Tchiz HaMeis. He spells it out. It says befedish that those that are in the ground, lying in the ground, they will get up. This is the strongest pasuk, as I said the Rambam for Tchiz HaMeis. Ravashi says from here, and you will go towards the end of Tanuach and rest, the Tamid Ligarolcha, and you'll get up in your lot Hayam at the end of the days. So that means that you'll get up. You'll get up at the end of Tchiz HaMeis. Amen Abelazar. Kol Panos. Shemanik es Hatzibur Benachas. Every leader that leads the Tzibur with patience, with pity, and with soft words, he will merit to lead in the world to come. Shenema, like it says in the Pasuk Yeshaya, Ki merachamam, because from pity, Yenagim, he will lead them, and over the streams of water, he will guide them. So the Yenagim is going, when it's a Yud at the beginning, it goes on Lashon Lavi. Yud is Asid. So Yinagim goes on Olam Haba. This is, that's been a get to Parnas. Yeah, but we're talking about it. He will be a leader also in the world to come. And he will lead and guide in the right way. Great is knowledge that it was placed between the two names of Hashem, two words of Hashem. Shanama ki Kel, Kel is the first name of Hashem, and then it says Deis, and then it says Hashem again. So I saw in the bottom, what is the Das? So he says, it says the Das is between the two Shemis. There's Hashem and there's Kel. Kel is Midas Hagvura, and Havaya is Midas Harachmin. So he says somebody will understand these two Midas of Hashem. That's a very, the Torah, I'm sorry, he says they is so special. Somebody who has that knowledge of Kel and Havaya in the Shemis, that's very special. Gadol Mikdash. Great is the Beis Hamikdash, which is given between two names of Hashem. Shenema, like it says in the pasuk, Machain l'shivtecha, Palta Hashem, the yesod of your dwelling, Hashem made. Mikdash Hashem, can you hear Hashem? The Mikdash of Hashem was established through your hands. So we see the Mikdash, the word Mikdash is between two names of Hashem. Hashem, Mikdash, Hashem. Okay. Matzkel Abada Kachina. Avada kachina yes takash elamiyata. Only now, gdoila nekama sheniknu ben shtei yosiyas. Nekama is also written between two names of Hashem. Kel, that's first before the word nekama, and then it says Kel nekamas Hashem. I remember Yisolik Levin, his father. I don't remember his father's name. He got engaged the second time. Yisolik Levin, Mendel Levin's tata. Yeah. His wife passed away, and he got married a second time. So somebody wished him mazel tov. He says, okay, im yetz Hashem by dein tata. He says, what's this? I said, yes, what are you saying? He says, you have a problem against me? I said, bin neikim in there. Tell him to come as Hashem. The Eibush was mal neikim. Anyway, so...
He was married first to Dresden?
First he was married to Dresden, and then he married a Weiss. Weiss. So mit dem Gewunschen, he didn't like it. Kelne comes Hashem, Kelne comes Sophia. So you see, it says Kelne comes, the word Kel, and the comes between Hashem's two names. Amalei Lamilse Hachinami. He says, which is Roi, is a good Zach. Kidiula, like Ula says, Ula says, Shtei for Oyes, Halalu. In this pasuk, there's two times the word Nakama, which is a greeting of two Nakamas. Lama. Yeah, comes Afia means it like a greeting. Why is it twice? If it says Afia Lashon Yachid, Lama Achas Lamidas Teva. One is for Midah Teva, meaning the double Lashon is to tell you one is for that there should be a tragedy. The Eibishter will destroy the world, the Umas Ha'ilam, and the come is that the Eibishter will take revenge. That the Yidden will, because the Yidden said Nasim and Ishmael Lagabi all the other Umas, so the Eibishter took revenge by giving the Torah Dafka to the Yidden. It was Masha on the Yidden Dafka the Shechina. So it's a good Tazach sometimes the comes. And there we're talking about Benegei a good Tazach. Whoever has this knowledge, it's as if he built a Beis Hamikdash in his days. Why? Knowledge Deya was given between the two names of Hashem, and the Mikdash is said between the two names of Hashem. So it makes like a Zeda Shava that
every person that has Deya is also
is as if he built the Beis Hamikdash in his days. Yeah, one who has Deya, because they're both written. Deya and Mikdash are written between two names of Hashem.
Where's Deya between them?
Kel, Deya is Hashem. Okay, we just said it before, but we're doing it again now. Rabbi Elazar had said, "Kol Adam sheish by Deya lasif misasher." Whoever has Deya, that was what the mayor had the Deya. You ever hear it? Here's the pasuk. Whoever has Deya, but here goes the word Faked. Is misasher v'tarai. But that was what the mayor is. Afila hotnish kin Deya. Aveta bal Deya. It's never like it says in the pasuk. Ubadas chadorim. That means ubadas, and the one who has the inner das. Yimalu kol hoin Yaakov enoyim. His chadorim, his rooms, will be filled with all kinds of precious Torah jewelry and stones. Any person that doesn't have a deya, doesn't have the knowledge, he doesn't have his bonanus, the das. Also, l'rachmalav. You're not allowed to have rachmanas on him. Yeah. Like it says, Kiloi al binas who, Kiloi am binas who, because it's not a nation of understanding. Al kain, therefore, lo yirachmanu, do not have pity. The one that made him, and the one that formed him, lo yichanenu, will not have grace to him. So we shouldn't have rachmanas on him. Abelazar said, Kol anis and pitay, lemi shein by deya. Whoever gives birth to somebody who doesn't have a deya, yisurim by alav. That person who gave the lechem to a person who doesn't have deya, he gets punished. He gets tortured, sort of. So never, like it says in the pasuk, "Lachmecha yasimu," he will place bread, mazeh tachta, and he will have tzaris in its place. Ain't funabay ve'ain mazeh. Ain't funabay. That means ain't somebody who doesn't have havanah. Ain't mazeh el yisun. What does mazeh mean? Only tzaris, yisun, torture. So never, like it says. Ephraim saw his sickness. The Yehuda es mezoirei, and Yehuda saw his yisurim. Rabbi Elazar said, "Kol adam shein by deya laseit goyla." One who doesn't have deya, doesn't have knowledge, at the end he'll be exiled. Shenema, like it says in Yeshaya, "Lochein gola ami mebli das." This is the reason why my nation was exiled, because bli das, there was no das. They didn't want to know the ways of Hashem because they didn't seek to know the way the Dach Hashem. That's why, and His Torah, they didn't want to know that they didn't seek to find out the Dach Hashem and the Torah. That's why they were exiled.
That's why we're still in Golos?
There's many reasons we can be in Golos. Rabbi Lezer said, "Kol bay she'ein divrei Torah nishma'im bay b'layla." Any house that the words of Torah are not heard in his house at night, a fire consumes that house. She'never, like it says in the pasuk, "Kol cheshech tamun letzmunav." Every darkness which is hidden. So it says, "Te'achleu eish lo nupach," a fire without a bellow. A bellow makes the fire starker. You make it the wind. He says even without a napach, the fire is still going to consume the whole place. Yeda will be bad. Sadid ba'Allah is going on the whoever's left in the tent, which is the Talmud Chacham. Shein Sadid el Talmud Chacham. The Sadid is going on the Talmud Chacham. Shenever, like it says in the pasuk, because he should have learned Torah. And these Talmid Chachamim that Hashem calls. If somebody who doesn't allow Talmid Chachamim to benefit from his possessions, we'll never see a simon bracha in his panasa. Shenever, like it says in the pasuk, ein sodid le'achloi al kein lo yachol tuvei. If there was no food that left over for the Talmid Chacham to benefit from your food, therefore, sagt the Eibishter, all your goods will not benefit, will not prosper. What is started going on? Talmid Chachamim, shenever, like it says, Vasridim. It says, Vasridim Hashem Keira, and Vasridim is on these Talmid Chachamim that Hashem calls. Whoever doesn't leave bread on his table, he eats up the whole thing. Allah's garnished. He cleans up. He does like a vacuum cleaner. Nothing left. And he doesn't leave not a bit of a piece of bread. Yeah. He won't see a simon bracha forever. If it is for now for a Talmud Chacham to come and eat a little bit from the leftovers, if he comes, the guy was a vacuum cleaner. He finished up everything. There's nothing for the Talmud Chacham, so the Eibishter says his goods won't prosper. He won't have that panasa. He won't make. We learned just the opposite. It says paket. If you leave bread on your table, it's like you're serving idols. Nishmitzat baltash. He says because it's a zara. Shandama, like it says, b'shem Gad or b'shem Mani. It says God. Those that prepare for this getchke called God, shulchan, his table, he leaves bread. Or b'hamemalim, those that fill up cups of wine, diluted wine, lamni, to this getchke called mani, mimsach, from the spiced up wine. So Sastira, before we said, you're supposed to leave. And now you say, forget, you're not. You want to like kasha. This is not a kasha. Here we're talking about, besides the pieces, he brings a loaf of bread also. So a loaf of bread with the pieces, that's for, we say, is for getchkes. Here is Pasha, he eats, and he makes it a point to leave pieces of bread just in case somebody might come, or Talmud Chacham might come. That we say is a good tezach. That's a simon bracha. But if you finished and you go ahead and you bring a loaf of bread, you're doing it for l'shem getchke. Somebody who disguises his words. It's like he's serving idols. It says by Yaakov Avinu, when he disguised his words, and he wanted to say he's Esau, right? And he was going to put on the Nimrod's clothing to feel like Esau. So he told Rivka, I'm afraid. I'm going to be like, in his eyes, like a liar. It's no good. It says the Hevel Hema is that this is Puskite, that this is Maisa Tatuim. Maisa Tatuim means Maisa of lies. So that's how we know he's like, that's been the gate to Avodah Zarah. It says Hevel Hema Maisa Tatuim. So disguising words is like serving idols. One who looks at nakedness, kashtain and errors, then his ava, which is like a bow that shoots arrows, is emptied out. Shenema erya terikashdecha. It says erya, the erva, that the nakedness that you're looking at, will empty out your ever. That means you're not allowed to look on the ever of other women. Rabbi Lazar says, "La'olam heavy kavel v'kaim." A person should always be humble, and that's how he'll exist.
And accepting.
Oh no, v'kaim kavel means humble. V'kaim, that's how he'll exist in the world longer. Rabbi Zayda said, we learned the same in a Mishnah, similar to this in a Mishnah. Bais afal, a dark house. Let's say there's a nega in the house, and the kohen has to check the negoyim in order to break the wall. So you don't have to open windows for him to break open the wall. That there should be more light. So that's how the house exists, because it's awful. Awful means malash humbleness. So you'll make it through. They won't break down your house because they are negoyim. Shmami knows that somebody who's humble, he will exist. Or he comes in, can't see nothing, and he can't do nothing.
He went open the window, you should be able to see.
There's no window. We don't say you have to break open light. What is this that says? What's the pirush of?
If it's a bias awful means it's a dark house.
A dark house, correct.
And you don't open the windows.
There's no windows, so you don't say you have to open up light for the client to find, to be able to see if it's a neg in the house or not. So it's awful is also darkness shows that you make yourself when you're humble, and that's how your house stays, and that's how your life continues. Nobody's on your back. What is this pirush of Shalosh Heinu Lo Tizbana She'el Ve'itzer Racham Eretz Lo Yisava Mayim? It says She'el. She'el is the keva. It says Ve'itzer Racham, and the narrowness in the woman's womb, where the baby comes from. Eretz, a land. Lo Yisava Mayim. Water, liquid can never fill them. None of them. Not the keva, not the tashmish. When somebody has tashmish, a woman, she can take more and more and more. It's never going to stop. And the same thing is the land, no matter how much water it could absorb. So, in fact, what does the keva have to do with the racham? Just like the womb, it takes in the zera, it gives out the children. So too, by the keva, it takes in the person, and in Lazulava, it's going to give out the person. By the womb of a woman, he bring the zera comes in quietly, but might see but the baby comes out with either the baby's crying or the woman is screaming, or they're both. Okay, while they're giving birth, yeah, it's pretty much the story. You don't have to stand around. You have to have a hearing. If not, just put in the hearing aids. You're going to hear a lot of screaming. The keva where when they bury a person, they're crying with eulogy. So when they're putting him in the ground. Isn't it for sure that it's going to come out with kelokayos? Here's an answer for those that say, here you have the answer. You have Shova. For sure there's Tchiyas HaMesim. Tana de Eliyahu. We learned in the Yeshiva of Eliyahu. Tzadikim she'aseh HaKadosh Baruch Hu l'hachyu son. The tzadikim that the Eibishter in the future is going to revive them, they're not going to die again. Never like it says in the pasuk. And those the remainder in seeing that and those remaining in Yerushalayim, Kaddish Yamalei should say about those remainders, holy, say to them, the meaning those that are written for life in Yerushalayim. Ma Kaddish la'olam kayim, just like the word Kaddish when you refer to HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it's everlasting. HaKadosh Baruch Hu is everlasting. So too, Afheim, those tzaddikim that we call Kaddish, that they're going to get up, is la'olam kayamim, that those that will get up by Tchiyas HaMesim are going to say Kaddish, they're going to be forever, just like HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The word Kaddish says by HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Im Toima, and if you're going to say, those years, the 7,000 years, right? The seventh, there'll be 1,000 years that the world will be destroyed. He says, there's going to be 1,000 years. We're almost there. By the end of the 6,000 year, the 7,000 is 1,000 years of churva, nothing, no world. So, and you're saying they're not going to die. What are we going to do with these Tchis HaMesim that's going to happen in the end of the 6,000 year? Or maybe now, right now, but they say they're going to live forever. What's going to happen in those 1,000 years that there's not going to be a world? It says that Hashem will be alone in that day. That day is referring to the one day by Hashem is like 1,000 years. You know the famous story. Somebody was saying to Hashem, please, David, lend me $1 million for one day of your time. One day's at $2,000 years. Lend me $1 million for one day. David said, no problem. Wait a day. So what do they do? What do the tzaddikim? Tzaddikim what do the tzaddikim do? So he says, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Oislam kanafayim kan sharim v'shatim. David makes the tzaddikim wings that they should fly like eagles, and they should go. They fly up ne'amayim over the water. Like it says in the pasuk, Al kain lo yinidu b'hamaaretz, and therefore do not fear in the exchange, in the transforming of the land, and the mountains that will be crushed into the heart of the seas. You can say it's going to be tzar. They're going to have to fly and fly. Right? No, those have hope in Hashem. There's going to be a different transforming of Kayach. Well, here yet. Yalu Eva Kanasharim. The wings will be like the Avarim, they're going to be like wings. Yanutsu, they're going to fly, but like you go, they're not going to get. The tzaddikim. That we say that there's going to be Tchis HaMesim before the 7,000 years. That means that 1,000 years that's going to be a churva, and they're not going to die. They just all those that are going to get up to Tchis HaMesim and stay alive. So the Gemara asks, what's going to happen with the people in those 1,000 years? They're not dying. So Hashem will create them wings, and they're going to fly. So the Gemara asks, but if they're going to fly, they're going to get tired. So the Eibishter says they're not going to get tired. The Eibishter will make it like. It's like a machine. You go, they're going to fly. He has a problem believing it.
I mean, you have to look at my show here.
You go. They're going to run and they're not going to get tired. Will go slowly like you off, and they're not going to get tired. Okay, thank you. There's no old people then. Everybody's going to become young.
What are you worried about today?
Say something. Okay. Let us learn now from the Tchis HaMesim of Yecheskel that he was Mechayim Mesim, and then they died. Savala Kimande Omar, and says the Yeshiva of Eliyahu, they say they hold like the Tana, who says that the MS Mashal Hayah was just a mashal. So the Tanya that we learned that Yecheskel revived Mesim. The time we learned in Abraisa, the Mesim that Yecheskel revived, they got up on their feet, and they said Shira or Mesim, and they died. What Shira did they say? Hashem Memis, Hashem brings people to death, but tzaddik in a justice way, and he revives them with Rachmanis. No, one time. Rabbi Yeshua says, Shira zu amru Hashem Memis Mechaya. The Shira is that Hashem is Memis Mechaya. Meirichol, he brings them down in the grave. Vayal, and takes them out. Rabbi Yehuda says, Emes Mashal Hayah. Emes was a mashal. Not that he revived them. Nechemi said, which one is it? Im Emes, Lama Mashal. If it's the true, why are you saying Emes Mashal? Other Emes are the Mashal. If it's Emes, Nishke Mashal. The Mashal, Lama Emes. What do you mean it's Emes? Ela Emes, only Mashal Hayah. Emes means that there was, the Chizayin was a real Nevi'us. And the real Nevi'us was a Mashal. He just wants to bring out, it wasn't a fake Nevi'us, it was a real Nevi'us he had, that he's being Mechai Mason, but the words that he said, which sounds like Mechai Mason, but it was a Mashal. But it was Emes, what he saw in his vision. Yeah, Rabbi Lezer, yeah, that's what he says. Here he says, that was Emes. He saw that Machzah Nevu was Emes Dikah. Oh, but that's given a Mashal al Gulas Yisrael. Okay, Rabbi Lezer ben Yisrael, Rabbi Yisrael Agil Yoyma. Mesim Shehachia Yecheskel. The Mesim that Yecheskel revived all Eretz Yisrael. Went up to Eretz Yisrael with Nasu Nashim. He says physically it did happen. Yecheskel was Machaya Mason, and these people got married. They married women and had bunnies and that sounds Nishke Marshall. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira Raglov. Rabbi Yehuda ben Beseira got up on his feet and he said, he says, "Hello, Ani mebnei bneiim. I'm from the grandchildren. Look, V'halolu tefillin cooketh my tefillin. Shenich li abi abba mehem. My grandfather left over for me. This is them. This is from the Chis Hamesim. Was Yecheskel had gepravet. Mechayim Mason. Who are these that Yecheskel was Mechayim Mason? Amarav Elam Bnei Ephraim. They're from the Bnei Ephraim. Shemanu Kates. They made a cheshbon, and they made a mistake. They counted that the Golos Mitzrayim. They counted from the Bris Ben Absalom when they notified them that they're going to go down to Golos, then to come out. That was when he was Bris Ben Absalom was when Abraham was 70 years old. When we really start counting the 400 years? From when Leilas Yitzchak. Leilas Yitzchak is when did Abraham have Yitzchak? When he was 100. So they made a mistake in 30 years. So the Bnei Ephraim said, the 400 years is up. They count them from 30 years old, earlier. So they went out to Muhammad to go out of Mitzrayim. And Shanam Bnei Ephraim, Shuv Salach, and they were killed. Uvad Bnei, here it says, V'tachas Bnei, Allah Bnei, V'tachas Bnei, V'zav Bnei, Shuv Salach Bnei, V'ezah, V'elazah, V'harogim, Anshe Gas, Hanoilon Ma'aretz. And the Anshe Gas killed them because they went out too early. Uksiv, V'isabel Ephraim Avim Yom Ram. Ephraim mourned over his children for many days. V'yavoyu Echav L'machmoi. And his brothers came to be Menachem Abel. Yeah. Shmuel. So those are the people he revived. Yecheskel. The Bnei Ephraim. Shmuel says, Elu Bnei Yadam Shekafu B'Tchis HaMesim. Who was he Mechayim Mesim? Those people that were Kaif and Tchis HaMesim. Shenam, like it says in the Pasuk, give me a lie. He said to me, Ben Adam, this person, these bones are all from Yidden. Behold, they said, our bones dried up. We lost our hope. Allah, we're doomed. That's it. We have nothing. So that's why the Eibishter told Yecheskel, revive these bones, these dry bones. It's referring to these people who don't have the lachluchis, the feigheit from the mitzvah. Meaning the dry bones, meaning they were dry without any chayis, no chayis in the mitzvah. So they didn't have any schus that were fitting for them to live. Meaning for fitting that they should have tchis hamesim. But the Eibush not gepravt tchis hamesim. Rabbi Yitzchak Nachman, Rabbi Yitzchak says, Elu bnei Adam. It's going, who did he revive? These people that started to graffiti inside the Beis Hamikdash, put pictures of Shkotzim, Ramashim, all kinds of vermins and worms. Like it says in the Pasuk, I came, but I don't know, I see me. They called Tabnis, the rabbis to Behemoth, Shekets, but called Galuli Beis Yisrael. Behold, I came into the Beis Hamikdash. I see all the forms of the Ramashim, the forms of Behemoths and Shkotzim and Getchkis. It's all drawn over the walls of the Beis Hamikdash. And it says there, to the Mason that Yecheskel revived, and it says the Lashon heavy oisel yad atzom shel oisam, where it says a double Lashon saviv, that even though they had such great sins, they gave them the koyach that they should be revived. Because they really denied in Chis HaMesim to show and people were convinced by them in order to show there will be Chis HaMesim. It's going on the Mesim that was in the valley of Dura. Rabbi Yochanan said, Menahar Eshel ad Rabas. Those places from Nahar Eshel to Rabas, because Dura, that's the valley of Dura. When Nebuchadnezzar Rasha was exiled, the Yidden, they were such handsome-looking, good-looking fellows that they put the sun to shame. The light that they had, they were so beautiful. And these women from Kazdim were looking at them with shofes avos, and they were The liquid out of the body wasn't flowing out. Amlu Balayim.
What do you mean look at it?
Zavis, they had the women, a man could be a zav, a woman could have a zav. They had the menstrual stuff, liquids coming out of their body because they saw such beautiful men. Amru lebalayim, so they told their husbands, look what's going on, such beautiful men.
You want to go to them?
So the balayim la melech, so the balayim said to the melech, it's a terrible thing. We have these good-looking fellas that are giving us problems. Tziva melech v'harogim. The king commanded. Madavze Allah Hargan.
Social bias.
Too good looking for Shalom Bayis is right.
So
But-
which king are we talking about now?
Here, Nebuchadnezzar says, nevertheless, it's still going on. The women still had the problem because they were looking at the dead boys. Even as dead boys, they look better than the old men. He's having a good time. So the king said, trample them that they shouldn't have any form of they shouldn't look like anything. So that's who he's Machai. That's who Yecheskel was Machai. Those Mason. In the time when Nebuchadnezzar Harasha threw in Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah into the Kalachim, into the furnace, HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yecheskel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu said to Yecheskel, Leich v'hachi ameis me'bikas Dura. Go and revive those dead in the valley of Dura. Kivin shehachi oisam. Once he revived them, bo atzamis v'taflu loy loy. Those bones came, and they were in forms of kalim. So when Nebuchadnezzar wanted to drink, when he was Mechai Mason, what he chapped a patch upon him from the cup. He says, well, what's this? What's these atzamis? So he says, this Yecheskel, who's the chaver of Hanani, Mishael, and Azariah, he revived these atzamis that you got a patch upon him from. Mechai Mason, because he was Mechai Mason of those people that were in the Valley of Dura. The Valley of Dura were the fine-looking fellows. Possibly Amma, and Nebuchadnezzar opened up his mouth and he said beautiful things. He says these tremendous miracles, how great they are, how strong they are. The Malchus Alam, the king of all worlds, and he rules over every day. Rabbi Yitzchak said, that it should be poured melting hot gold into his mouth that he shouldn't be able to speak. If the Malach wouldn't have came and given him a zetz upon him, he would have put to shame all the shvachim that David HaMelech said in Tehillim. Nebuchadnezzar had a piece. He knew how to give shvachim. Have you gedacht, hab ma zetz, soll gar nicht sagen, so that we can have David HaMelech's Tehillim and continue to say it. Okay, stop here.